Hi, Book Bestie. So it's officially February, and I am going to do my January wrap up. I did read a total of 8 books, 3 audiobooks, and 5 physical books. Um, there will be spoilers. I'm gonna do this into 2 parts. The first part, I'm gonna talk about the audiobooks I listened to. The first one was The Bridgerton, The Duke and I. This is Daphne and Simon's story. I did rate it a 4.5 stars for me personally. I did like it. I loved it. There was more to the story that they showed in the show, and it was better in some cases, but in some parts the show was better. In the book, she did have 3 daughters and a son towards the end, which they talk more about their kids. They talk more about what happened, the story. And the love between them, you can actually see like when they were mad at each other and they stayed like in separate houses for a bit while he calmed down. And the way that when he goes find her, even though he's upset, he starts missing her. Anthony, her brother, goes to see him and gives him a letter, which he opens, he reads it, and right there you can see that his love for his wife overpowered the anger that he was feeling, or the stress of what was happening, and how he felt about personal issues that went on with his father. And when he went to see her, the way that he ran to her when he thought she was hurt, and he was asking about the baby when she thought she was pregnant at first, that was like special. And that part wasn't included in the show, and to me that part was a little bit more special, and it showed how in depth his love is for her, which that part I liked better. But in some cases the show was a little better for me personally. The second book I read was The Viscount Who Loved Me, which is the second book in the Bridgerton and also the second season. This one I did like better. For me, it was a 5 star. Um, I did like the book better than the show in this case, with Anthony and Kate's story. In the show, they did the whole thing where he tries to get with her sister first. It kind of goes like that in the book, but then in the book, when she's bitten by the bee, that he gets all scared and nervous, because he's afraid that she might die from the bee sting, and he's trying like to suck the venom out of her, and they see them, so then they make them get married. And then that's when they start growing. They start seeing how in love they are with each other, how he decides to just let it go, what he's feeling, and give them a real shot. In the show, they go all the way to where he almost gets married with her sister, and that's when they decide to tell her and go, and they ended up together anyways. But in the show, for me, it felt like the sister bond was kind of crumbled a little bit because of what happened. And in the book, their sister bond stays strong, in a point where Anthony even wants to give her like a dowry, and they show that she actually fell in love with someone else, and she ended up with that someone else, which for me was way better, because on top of this being about her love and his love for her and her love for him, and falling in love and learning this new feeling they're feeling, and getting over the little kind of like hate they had for each other, but it was also about her bond with her sister, and how she loves her sister and is willing to protect her or give anything for her. And that part for me was better in the book. Now, the third audiobook I listened to was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas, which I did try to read it first last year, but there's times where I can be kind of a mood reader, so I couldn't really get into it. So I decided to buy the audiobook and see if that was better. It was better. I got through it. I listened. For me personally, don't hate me, it was like a 4 star, maybe 4.5. It was good. I did like it, but it was more informational as well as the story. They give us like about what happened in the past, what's going on now, what the curse is. They're explaining to us about the courts, the different kind of courts, the spring court, the night court, and like everything going on and more informational purposes. So for me, it started a little bit slow, and it slowly went up. There was parts I loved, um, but again, for me personally, it was like a 4, 4.5. More because it was informational. It was introduction to most of the characters, and you're getting to know the characters more and what's going on. So for me, that was a little, but I can't wait to read the second book and see where it goes from there. Because it can get better. But I did like it. So let's see how the second one goes from there. Um, they tell me that it gets better, so I can't wait to see what else happens, to see what else happens with each of the different characters. And I know like her sisters gets more involved in the later books, which I can't wait to see how their story goes, especially since in the first book they were kind of like oblivious to each other, but then I guess they start kind of like being more connected. I know she talked to the sister she thought didn't like her at one point, and she tried to protect her. She told her what to do. She listened. She believed her. So I really can't wait to get more into that story and see what happens next with Feyre and the courts. I know there's more things that happen because I have seen spoilers here and there, so I can't wait to get more into it and see what else happens. So that's the wrap up for the audiobooks. Those were the 3 audiobooks I've read. Those are my personal opinions, of course. I do recommend you read each and one of them because what I might find a little bit off or weird or I might not like a lot, you might love. But I did love them. It's just a little bit on the slow side, but let's see how it keeps going. I know some people are saying that the third book in the Bridgerton series is like one of the best, so I can't wait to get into that one, especially since the new season came out. Well, half of it at least, so I can't wait to get into that and see. Um, and I know people keep raving about the ACOTAR series, so I really can't wait to get into it more in depth, more deeper into the later books, and then start with Throne of Glass as well because I do have that series. So hopefully, let's see. If you have any more recommendations, just drop them down in the comments below and look for part 2 for the physical books I read. See you guys.